Janet Yellen's confirmation hearings continue. As if there's any doubt there's going to be a confirmation. What could she do to surprise to the upside? Peter Schiff with Euro Pacific is here to discuss. Okay, Peter, I know you've been a little skeptical, a little dubious of the Fed in the past. Let's talk upside surprises here. We got a clean slate. What could Janet Yellen do to make the best of an absolute losing situation?
Well, I think it's going to be a case of the blind leading the blind once she's confirmed to be the next Fed chairman or chairwoman. I think I would like to see the truth come out at these confirmation hearings to discuss how completely clueless Janet Yellen was during the housing bubble, because the left has tried to redefine her and rewrite history and cast her as some kind of Nostradamus who was warning about the housing bubble and the financial crisis. She was this Cassandra there at the Fed, and nobody listened to her. This is all nonsense. She was just as blind as everybody else. In fact, she was dismissing the warnings about the housing bubble that people like me were actually making at the time. She said that the housing market was going up for fundamental reasons, that it wasn't a bubble. She expected housing prices to keep rising. Even if she was surprised and housing prices went down, it wouldn't be a big deal. It wouldn't hurt the economy. Housing was a small part of the economy. So she was wrong about everything in the past, and I think she will be continue to be wrong once she's chairwoman.
But okay. So pencils have erasers. I would like to see a lot of things. The confirmation's not where we're going to see that little burst of reality. That would be a huge shock. We'll see a Burr-Hamilton rematch before we see any rationality come out of a confirmation. But let's start from scratch here. How would you advise her? Again, it's a terrible situation she's walking into. Assuming that she's learned from those mistakes, how could she take baby steps? What, if anything, could she do that would be at least to minimize the damage in this thing?
Well, but she hasn't learned from the mistakes at all. I mean, she is going to compound the mistakes. She's going to take the QE program and expand it. It's going to be a lot more than $85 billion a month in bond buying. She actually believes that the Federal Reserve can create prosperity, can create jobs and economic growth by creating inflation, by printing more money. And that's what she's going to do. And because it's not going to work, because it's going to make the economy worse, not better, she's going to do more and more of it until ultimately there is a currency crisis and the dollar collapses and then brings an end to the madness.
Now, and we've suggested in the past, only semi-tongue-in-cheek, that would that perhaps be kind of the best alternative, that we'd at least get to the end of the madness? Because you and I have spoken for years now about this sort of impending problem. We've never quite gotten to the end of the game. At the very least, could we get out of this at least some decisive catastrophe just to wash the slate clean? I mean, I hate to phrase it that way, but isn't that kind of a best case scenario?
Well, unfortunately, you may be right. We're going to have a complete monetary disaster before there's any impetus to change course. Because as long as the Fed could take the easy way, that's what they're going to do. As long as they can keep subsidizing the growth of government and prop up the real estate market and the stock market, they're going to keep doing it. It's going to be pressures that are going to be brought externally that are going to finally force us to do something different. And the sooner that happens, the better. The sooner we have this crisis, the sooner we can begin to deal with the underlying problems. The more we succeed in postponing the day of reckoning, the more we have to reckon with, and the more difficult it's going to be to solve the problem.
Well, then let's put an optimistic spin on it. Hey, another step towards the final denouement of this reckless endangerment of our political and economic system. He's Peter Schiff. Let us know what you think.